Today, I am close to 75 years old. Instead of counting the years, what has become more important to me is what I have learned, what I have lost, and what I have found again within those years. Because once I almost lost my heart. No, wait, I almost lost not only my heart, but my life. Before, I thought the heart was just an organ that keeps beating. If it works, you live. If it stops, that's the end. I thought it was that simple. But ischemic heart disease taught me that the heart is not just a pump that moves blood, it is a heavy burden that carries your entire life. In the past, I was always in a hurry. I rushed to work, I rushed home, I rushed to results, I even rushed to rest, as if rest had to be finished quickly so I could work again. I'll rest later, I used to say. I'll see it later, I used to say. I'll find time later, I used to say. But life taught me a very hard lesson. The word later does not always come. One day, a strange pain appeared in my chest. At first, I didn't pay attention to it. Fatigue, I said. Nerves, I said. Maybe my blood pressure went up, I said. Sometimes the pain went away, sometimes it came back, but every time it came back, it returned a little stronger. I started to feel short of breath. When I climbed stairs, I had to stop, but I still did not admit it, because admitting it meant accepting myself as weak, and I had lived my whole life being strong. I remember that day clearly. It was a very ordinary day. No holiday, no tragedy expected. But inside me, it felt like something was pressing. My chest was tight. It felt like I couldn't get enough air. I started sweating. My hands became cold. At that moment, for the first time, a thought passed through my mind. This is not something ordinary. Then everything became urgent. The hospital, white walls, sharp smells, the serious faces of doctors. In their eyes, I saw the words, "Time is important." They told me, "You have ischemic heart disease. Your heart is not getting enough blood." When I heard that, it felt as if something inside me had broken loose. So my heart has become tired too, I thought.
The scariest thing is that it's such a moment a person begins to think about death. Before, death seemed far away to me, like something that happens to others. But that day it felt very close to me. For the first time, I looked at my life with different eyes. Unfinished work, unsaid words, unseen faces, postponed joys. Treatment began. Medicine, tests, lying in bed, waiting. Waiting turned out to be the hardest part. While a person is waiting, 1,000 questions spin inside them. Will my heart hold on? Will I walk like before? Will I be able to return to a normal life? These questions do not let you sleep at night. You lie there staring at the ceiling, counting your heartbeats. Each beat feels like it is saying, "I am still here." The doctors told me that I had to change my way of life. You can't live the way you did before, they said. When I heard that, resistance rose inside me. How can I not? I've lived like this all my life, I said to myself. But then I understood. It was exactly that living like this that had brought me to this state.
But the greatest change happened inside me. I began to see life more slowly. Before, I only saw big goals. Now I see small joys. The sunrise, the smell of hot tea, the silence beyond the window, the voice of a loved one. All of this existed before, too, but I did not see it. My heart was working, but it did not feel gratitude. Sometimes people ask me, "Weren't you afraid?" Of course I was afraid. You cannot joke with heart disease. But I understood this. Fear can either stop you or wake you up. It woke me up. It taught me to look at my life again. Now I know that health is not just not being sick. Health is listening to yourself, taking care of yourself, giving yourself time. Before, I thought this was weakness. Now I know it is wisdom. Ischemic heart disease did not break me. It slowed me down. But sometimes slowing down is necessary to see the right path. If I had continued running as before, maybe I would not be here today speaking to you. But the greatest change happened inside me. I began to see life more slowly. Before, I only saw big goals. Now I see small joys. The sunrise, the smell of hot tea, the silence beyond the window, the voice of a loved one. All of this existed before, too, but I did not see it. My heart was working, but it did not feel gratitude. Sometimes people ask me, "Weren't you afraid?" Of course I was afraid. You cannot joke with heart disease. But I understood this. Fear can either stop you or wake you up. It woke me up. It taught me to look at my life again. Now I know that health is not just not being sick. Health is listening to yourself, taking care of yourself, giving yourself time. Before, I thought this was weakness. Now I know it is wisdom. Ischemic heart disease did not break me. It slowed me down. But sometimes slowing down is necessary to see the right path. If I had continued running as before, maybe I would not be here today speaking to you. Today I still live carefully. I have my medicines. I have my routine. I have my limits. But most importantly, I have hope. Every morning I wake up and feel my heart beating. That is the greatest gift, the greatest wealth. If you are listening to me, and you or your loved ones are living with heart-related problems, know this. This is not the end of life. This is another stage of life. There is joy in it too. There is meaning in it too. It is just a little slower, a little more careful, a little more conscious. I learned my heart again. I learned to listen to it, to protect it, to value it. And most importantly, I learned to live life without postponing it. Because the heart is not given only to keep beating. The heart is given to remind us to live. Sometimes I sit and look through old photographs. I look at my face from my youth. There was haste in my eyes. It felt as if there was always an invisible burden on my shoulders. Back then, I was busy proving that I was strong. To someone, for something. but the one I proved it to the least was myself. Now, when I look in the mirror, I see wrinkles, but I am not afraid of these wrinkles. They are the marks of my years. Each one is a lesson. Each one is a stopping point. Each one seems to say, "You are still alive." Before I wanted to look young. Now I want to look alive. The difference is very big. Heart disease also makes a person lonely because not everyone can understand the fear inside you. From the outside, you are walking, talking, smiling, but inside there is always one question: what if it comes back? Living with this question is not easy, but I learned to accept it not as my enemy, but as my warning. It tells me, slower. It tells me, take care of yourself. It tells me, value today.